I know it, I know it, I know it. I know y'all been waiting on me, but baby, when I saw it, I said, ooh, I got to strategize this thing right here. It got to be a part one and a part two because, ooh, the what? The lines have been crossed. And I'm glad about it. I'm sorry. I'm glad about it. So this gonna be a part one and a part two, cause I had to. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm Billy Blanks. Look, hey. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with her talking to Wayne. Even though Wayne had caught himself flip flopping, Wayne redeemed himself. You know he gonna always, go on whatever side is who is there. So anyway, so they just finished doing their business, talking and talking about Anthony the singer and whatnot. And so she was like, I know you heard about everything that's going on. So, Wayne acting like he don't know, knowing he know. So he talking about whatever, what you mean? Like, I ain't heard nothing about nothing. And she was like, Wayne, you don't have to fake it. You heard about me and Anthony. He was like, sure, everybody heard that. I don't get in nobody's business. Boy, quit lying. You was all in them people business. And so, she said about us possibly getting back together. And he said, you ain't heard that? And he talking about, oh yeah. I know it was like a situation or something like that, because you had put your little input with Piara talking about you went too far as with Shayla. You ain't mean that mess. You just going along with Piara. So and Amber was like, so do you think that I would like be stupid if I get back with him? And she said, Wayne was like, do I think you stupid? And she was like, yeah, he was like, it ain't about what I think, it's about what you think, because at the end of the day, you have to deal with the consequences or the blessings that come with it, Like, I'll be in my house, and he's stupid. He said, I'll be in my house drinking orange juice and stuff like that. So Amber was like, you know how it is. I've talked so much crap to people, I talk so much crap, people will be looking at me like, I'm crazy. So I ain't like, you worried about what people say about that. You can't live like that. And he's right. You don't worry about what nobody else say. Whatever you feel is in your heart, you do what you feel. If you go by what everybody else say, then you gonna be stuck, because you don't know how their life is. Their life might be 10 times worse than yours. So they're gonna avoid their situation and be concentrating on yours, trying to tell you what to do in your life, but they ain't doing what they need to do in their own life. So Amber was like, it's my fault because I ran my mouth too much. Finally, you figuring that part out. And Wayne was like, shoot, what the Bible says, nobody can't judge you. Like it say, get the log out of your eye before you get the splinter out of somebody else's eye. I like that. That sounds good. And where y'all got issues and stuff, what may strengthen he said, what's my strength in life is that I don't care what people say. I don't either. And if you start caring about what everybody else say, then you're gonna be stuck in life and you're gonna be controlled by others and not by your own self. That's just my opinion on it. He said, the only person I care about is what God says. And I mess up with him every day. Every day I mess with him, but he keep giving me grace. He keep giving me grace. If people was God, I'd have been there. You know how he said, because child support would have hung me from a tree, and I was like, yeah, you're right about that. So Amber was like, yeah, I pray they would have hung you back in the day. She making a joke or whatever, but he was like, you got to know what we all got a relationship with God, and in this situation is with you and God, and it's just like, it's just hard through hard things though, because if I do If I do leave, oh, she said it's just hard. Because if I leave him all the way and divorce him, and then I get back in these streets, then what it ain't, I mean, it ain't nothing out here. These men be playing games and stuff, games before, and if you're messing when you be next, now she said they be playing games, and before you know it, you have been messing with Tom, Dick, and Harry. And Wayne was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. He said, but what I'm telling you is you got to live with the decisions, and the end of the day, that's your husband. And he spoke the truth. That is your husband. And he was like, as long as nobody ain't taking nothing from your body, like stealing and killing and beating and abusing and stuff like that or whatever. I mean, you go through, man. That's your business. Like all of that is your business. And he ain't lying about that. If you worry about the opinions of others, then you're never going to go forward in whatever it is that you do. People might be telling you it's wrong. You just don't know. Anthony probably have changed. But if you go about what everybody else tell you what not to do, then you won't be with him. And like you say, you'll be out in these streets. And see, that's why you don't run your mouth, because you never know when you're going to go back. You may go back. And all that you just said, you got to eat that up. So that's why you got to stop talking your business to everybody. Whatever go on in your house, you keep it in your house. You don't go run and tell everybody, including Anthony. You don't go run telling everybody all your business. And so he said, don't worry about what people say, Now, don't go to nobody because of what people say, and don't go away from nobody because of what people say. It's about you and your soul, and whatever you feel, because the only person that's been there for you your whole life is that person inside of you. And he's telling the truth. You can't, people give the worst advice when it's not with them, but they won't listen to their own advice. They won't listen to what the advice they're giving to others, the pot cotton kettle black, and you're proud to tell that person, don't do this, don't do that, I wouldn't take him, I wouldn't do that, but then you got somebody in there that's been doing it, but you ain't told nobody. You see what I'm saying? So Amber was like, yeah, and he said, don't nobody know all your business but the person inside of you. So, and the person inside of us. So, you got to listen to yourself. So don't worry about what people say. And I'm with him on it. Stop worrying about everybody else. Stop putting everybody else in your business, because look at what's going on right now. You thinking about it. And, and Wayne always give you good advice. He give you advice so where you can take it upon yourself and make your own decision. Not what he say, but what you feel. And that is the true thing. So you never know. So this is part 1. So I'm going to get to part 2 in the next skit. I'll talk to y'all in a minute.